Let's just go home.
It's been a long day.
I do the intro for it.
There you go.
I think that's us just coming out and seeing The World's End. There's a lot of stuff that happened in the movie, and from... Well, we'll just start from the start, really, I guess.
So we had complications during, but we'll get back into it, but oh my god.
We'll just jump into this.
Nah, just keep going. I'm so happy. I'm just really, really happy.
You're just glad they turned out, like, you know, this trilogy is actually a really solid trilogy.
I'm just so happy. Honestly. It's probably the best film I've seen in years.
Yeah. I'd say, like, I remember seeing from all the other ones, seeing Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and now this. I think we had this discussion when we were talking about Hot Fuzz. It was like the first time you seen it.
Mm-hmm. I hated Shaun of Hot Fuzz.
When I came out of the cinema, I was really disappointed. I was like, I don't know what I was expecting, but I was pretty hyped up because I loved Shaun of the Dead so much. But that's when I was seeing the trailers.
Trying to be a wee bit more reserved as opposed to getting too hyped for it.
Yeah.
Hence why I was like, no, I don't want to see any trailers, don't want to know anything about it, don't want to read any interviews about it. I just want to go in a blank slate. I don't want to know anything about it.
And you seen
Since the last time it was all Bill Bailey's going to be in it, it's all about fucking action films, it's all about buddy cop films, it's all about that's going to be so fucking hype. And it was still good, but I was expecting it to be like fucking Bad Boys 2, which they do reference, but I was expecting it to be over the top when it was actually more British and more conserved, but it was still paying homage in a way to the source material. So I think it was basically just me getting overhyped for something, and it basically let me down. But as I got to watch it more and more and more and get to know exactly what it was that we're going for, that's when I started to appreciate it. And the fact that what I loved all his Edgar Wright films and Simon Pegg's films is the writing layers. Yeah. And it's like, it always, for me, a comedy is something you can watch over and over and over again. In terms of, you always find something new to laugh at. Because it's like Monty Python done it, like basketball and all these Naked Gun and all that stuff, is you sit back and you watch them again and you don't pay attention to what's been said or who's talking. You end up looking about at the back, and there'll always be a visual gag somewhere. So either that, or there'll be like wee sound effects you didn't realise before that were in the background that are a call back to something else, or just lots of layers that just compact together with the comedy of what's actually happening throughout the narrative, and it's just fantastic. It really is. And as Edgar Wright, the rest of these films it's not built from the pattern, so
it's paced well. It looked really good.
It's always going to look very good. Even like I showed Dom one of Edgar Wright's like amateur films, and it's still fucking impressive what he's done with the camera work, considering he had nothing to work with.
Yeah, it's just
the guys have an idea. He's got a great vision, and he's got great editing skills and stuff like that. He knows how to take. He's a very big fan of like pan swipes, which are basically just like things that are going. Like basically, he'll shoot the shot, and then he'll just pan to the left, or pan to the right, or pan up and down, and then on the next shot, he'll continue that motion straight into it, so it just flows quickly into it. So he knows what he's doing and where he's starting, where he's finishing, how long a scene needs to be. He always one step ahead of where he needs to be. He's fantastic.
All of his editing, though, see, like for the close-ups of things, like when he's driving, like in Hot Fuzz or the Shaun of the Dead, it was with the sort of whole gag of how to avoid the zombie apocalypse. You know,
I think my favourite editing one was basically when they're having the battle plan of what they do, and then, you know, just sitting with a wee cup of tea, but they're going through the scenarios of different ways to think it. I just love that gag, because they just keep using the same shots, but all
slightly a wee bit. Sorry. That's what I was talking about.
Was that what you were talking about? Sorry. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Because I've basically, like everybody else, has been fucking roasting for the past couple of nights, and you were saying as well, you've not had much sleep, but me, it's been for 2 weeks. I've just been rolling about, not been able to sleep, so, but because this is the first Tuesday it came out, we wanted to come up before it was packed. So
and it was empty, it was dead. It was awesome.
There were still about 10 folk.
No, it was about, we had that guy with the cool afro, those two guys, and the other couple over there, and then us.
What, 8, 6, 7, I don't know. Tired, man, sleepy. I'm sleepy, but even though I was sleepy, it still didn't fucking stop me from
It was really good. I didn't know what to really think, what they were sort of going in here, but then when you sort of, from the start, it was sort of, yeah, this guy's sort of stuck in the 90s. All the music, the music was just
man. The music, just...
You're just like, that was
the whole time, honestly, the whole time I was just smiling throughout this entire fucking film, and apart from a couple of parts. But,
that was more of an emotional bit.
Yeah. The soundtrack's just fucking phenomenal. I'm a big 90s guy, man. I really am a big 90s guy. I get the decade gets a bad rap for when it comes to music and stuff like that, but it's not only just that, they've fucking interspliced it with like wee nods to like John Carpenter scores and fucking it's just so good.
Again, all the characters played really well from that. Nick Frost, I think that's the best I've ever seen Nick Frost in these movies.
Really? No, honestly.
I love him in Shaun of the Dead, but I think he was so much better in this movie. Just
he is definitely growing. It's interesting seeing following someone throughout their entire career, because he never even acted until he went in. He didn't even act before going into space. They just went in completely dry, and seeing them through to where he is now, man, it's fantastic to see how great he is at acting, because he's the best actor in this fucking film. He easily is the best actor in this film, I'm not lying. He's fantastic.
It's really good.
See that scene where he leaves one of the pubs and he's just drunk out his face? He just, after he takes his shots of the thing, and he just goes through the... I don't want to ruin the gag. It's just the fucking funniest thing ever. The thing is, he's sober when he'd done that, and I'm just like, that is the best acting I've ever seen.
We don't know if he was sober.
No, he was sober, because I fucking gave in. He was on Graham Norton, I think it was, and he was talking about doing research and stuff like that, and he always looked in the mirror when he was drunk or anything like that, because I don't think he drinks that much anymore, but he would always like, remember this. Remember this. That's fucking brilliant. But the plot, if you don't know what it is basically this guy called Gary King. He's kind of... They don't really tell what the age group is, this group of friends.
Well, they left school.
I'd say they'd be like late 30s going into the 40s, really.
I would say they were in their 40s.
Yeah, I think they're getting in their 40s.
They are in their 40s, because they left school in 92, 91, 92. And it'd been, from that. And,
math, whatever, right? But they're obviously, they're adults. They're at the stage of their life where they're grown adults. They've left their past behind them. They've matured. Blah 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 blah.
Except one man.
Apart from one man, and he's got nothing else going for him. He's down and out. The film very bleak at the start when he's in the Alcoholics Anonymous, and that's how the film starts. And he just basically decides that he wants to finish the only thing that he's got, because the thing starts off with a monologue of like, you ever one of those nights where it's just a normal night and it turns into the greatest night that you've ever had. Usually that's finished by when you're out, that you didn't have when you're out. So it was literally the best day or best night they had his entire life. So obviously he wanted to go back to that and try and reenact that. So he tries to get the whole gang back together. And I just love the fact that how reluctant everybody is towards his character. And it's just, you're supposed to look at him, you're supposed to go, oh, Jesus Christ, man. This guy, like, I fucking loved him. I loved him regardless, but obviously, if you're with somebody that, I'm obviously not in the 40s, but if I'm still acting like this in my 40s, then shoot you.
That's if you live till 40, mate.
That's true. That is true. But honestly, I can see me being like him, honestly. I really can. So that's why I think it's so funny. Everyone's just like, oh, Jesus Christ. It's
like back hair, bang tattoo.
Going to people's houses and fucking following them, then hiding when they see him, and then running away and fucking, he's such a dick, man. It's so funny, because I say to you, he reminds me a lot of Bernard Black, the Black Books, in terms of just being so self-centred and not realising how things work with people, and just being really, basically the word to use is socially retarded, I think, is basically the best word, phrase to use. It's just basically, he doesn't know how to communicate with people, he's just quite self-centred.
He didn't grow up.
He always has to be right. And he's a great character, man. I think it's fucking brilliant. I fucking love him. So basically, all it is basically them. Everybody's got an arc in this, really. Everybody's got an arc in it. Again, like I was saying about the end of the world. It's like it's the same thing again. It reminds me of the Avengers script in the terms of every character at least has a moment in it. And
They have time for them.
but even at that, every main character in this has an arc of some sort. You've got a love story. You've got
Redemption story.
a redemption story. You've got what do you call it? A breakup and makeup story.
Yep.
And you've got a revenge slash conquering story as well. And well, saying that, the other character didn't really have one.
He didn't. Well, he
But
stopped.
it kind of it's complicated without getting into any spoilers. But near enough, every main character in it has an arc where it actually shows them developing as a character. At the same time, it nicely comes back full circle at the end of it as well.
Yeah.
It's just I could just gush for ages about this fucking film. They're really good.
I just the soundtrack was really good. And then I remember him saying to you like the moment where everything got real, like was like spliced so well.
Mm-hmm.
You knew what was going to come up, and you go, right, you know this bit with the phone. And you're like, yeah, that's coming, but the bit with it in the toilet, and you're like, what the? And it just
we were marking out the entire movie as soon as
the
that
fight
kicked in, man.
sequences in this movie were brilliantly shot.
Well, that's probably my only criticism.
Really?
Is
no,
no, they are brilliant. They're brilliantly shot. They're brilliantly directed. But like for example, the very first one, it happens in a toilet. Right, no spoilers, but it happens in a toilet. But the action was just. To me, it felt as if it was kind of slow at parts. Like when it was out and it was taking thing, it felt as if they were kind of being careful, or just like it wasn't like fucking balls to the wall. But I think that's probably my only criticism. But I can understand why, if you know what I mean.
You can't expect like guys in their late 30s, early 40s fighting.
I can.
Like to that degree.
Like Jason Statham, man. Like he's the man.
I'll be up a wee bit now. Jason Statham. You and your Jason Statham.
And what?
But again, like he's, as you said with Simon Pegg, he's went through the motions. He's done all that, like most of his life. The other guys won't. You mean look at Nick Frost? He's no sort of way of doing that.
He's the man. Simon Pegg was definitely he had the best. Basically, I've came up with a drinking game is when you see a big hype takedown.
Oh yeah.
You drink because it's the fucking takedowns are so. As soon as the first one, happened, I was it's fucking clapping and everything, man. I was just so hyped for the entire film.
Yeah, a bit about it. I don't think I probably was in the same boat as you, not stop smiling more because the jokes were like constant. If it wasn't a spoken gag, it was a visual gag
or a callback.
Callback
to the other films.
Oh, the amount of times we were just like, we're just like that from Space, from Shaun of the Dead.
It's pretty much
Hot
all
Fuzz.
of them, yeah.
Just everyone.
It's a nice wee bow at the end of it for their trilogy. I don't know if they're going to do anything else past this or not.
Well, see, they mentioned that like years ago. See, when they done Hot Fuzz, they were saying, the Cornetto trilogy. And I was like, Cornetto trilogy? Well, okay, from that, it's like, the red Cornetto where he was eating, they were eating the Shaun of the Dead, the blue Cornetto, and that. And I was like, alright, okay, they must have that somewhere in this, and it's good to be called back.
The green Cornetto actually ties in really well.
Yeah, doesn't it feel like that?
Just thinking about it, because what one was it? And it was the green one. It's like, not to spoil it or anything like that, but it fits it in perfectly. And the cameo for the Cornetto was fantastic as well. It's probably the best mention or callback to Cornetto out of the three of them.
It was just like seeing Marsha, we sort of went bright, like Marsha from Space.
There's a few characters with Space in it and we were just marking out. Some of them, some of us didn't recognise just because it's been that long and we've not seen them in a long time. And stuff
Brian,
like
that was when I got. I was like, has he changed his hair? And you went,
so I was like, yeah, and he was just like, that's Brian. And he's like, oh, that's what it is. Like,
he's not because as soon as you mentioned I didn't have the goatee, I was like, how could I not know? Just draw it on his face.
Aye, so me, I think story-wise, this is easily the best story out of any of the films that they've done. Easily.
Oh yeah.
Easily, this is the best story. In terms of homages and stuff like that to the actual genre, I don't really know a lot of the stuff that they've done, but I've seen a few. I've seen Invasion of the Body Snatchers, definitely. I knew that as soon as a lot of stuff happened. The Thing, which is if you've watched my videos, I'm a massive fucking mark for The Thing. and that's what pissed me off the most, is that was the part where shit went down in the cinema.
Oh,
that was basically a homage to The Thing, because the way it was acted, the way it was edited, the way the scenario was happening, it was just so thing-like. It was so fucking good, and I'm just sitting there having that big geek hard on for fucking sitting watching it, and what happens?
No, not you. Wasn't that?
I was so anticlimactic for me, man. I was just getting so hyped at the time. It was the hypest part of the movie.
Well, what happened was that what happened was we were coming down.
You ruined the Dom, is what happened.
Since we were driving down the Clydebank, there was a thunder and lightning happening, and I says, "This is really bizarre." So I goes, "What do you mean?" Well, the last time I went to the cinema in the weather like this,
torrential rain,
thunderstorm, just all that. I says, well, the last time I went to the cinema, not to the one in the Empire in Clydebank, the one up in Glasgow, we were watching, as I said to you, Star Wars Episode 3, my brother Kevin and Liam, and
you need to tell me, Kevin.
Oh, I was for that as well. And what happened was that everything just cut out, and they said it was due to the thunderstorm from that, and I was like, we came down here and I said, this is pretty heavy, I hope this doesn't happen again. And you're like, you better not have...
Don't ruin my day! I've been hyped for this since it was announced!
And see, and when what happened at the cinema for that was, they said, sorry, we can't show this today because, lightning storm and that, and this big American guy stood up and just started screaming, this is bullshit, man! I pay money for it! This is bullshit! I mean, no, I'm not trying to say that he was overweight, I'm trying to say he was a fat motherfucker. This guy had, he was American. His belly was down to his knees, and he was just so angry. He sort of struggled to get out of his seat first, but he was so full of rage. He was like, argh. So when he stood up and walked out, he was like, bullshit, man. And then he sort of walked out, and my brother Kevin stood up in the middle of the cinema, just said, this is bullshit, man. And started just acting the same way. And so you're going from American fat ass to Kevin, who's just like definition of anorexia, just really skinny white.
The only way he could be completely polar opposite is if the American guy was black and Kevin was that big fat black guy, and then this skinny white guy.
Oh,
vintage Kev, man.
Yeah. But what happened was there was a scene before that. They were in a pub, and what happened was Pierce Brosnan. Yeah, he was pretty good in that. Yeah. Hit a fire alarm. And all this sort of things
happens
for it. When he hits the fire alarm, it's a beep, everyone's just fighting. And I'm like, yeah, this is pretty intense. But then it gets to the bit...
so the scene finishes, and then it transitions into the next scene where I'm basically having my big hard on for fucking The Thing references and nods to and stuff like that.
And then
the alarm's still going.
Well,
and I'm still like, well, I think it's still diegetic and that, because they're alarmed of what the situation is, what happens. There's stuff that they might not be able to trust each other, etc., without getting into any spoilers. And I thought maybe that's just to keep the fucking panic going.
Because
I thought that, and you're just like, no, I was feeling as if.
I thought something was wrong. I was like, because it wasn't. It was too loud. See if it was subtle, but it was. I'm like,
it was taking you out of the movie.
Yeah, I was like, I says, I'm not comfortable with that. And then suddenly, let's come on. Attention! Everybody, get out the fucking cinema! The place is gonna burn! It's like, oh god! Not again!
And I just looked at my shoes and sighed.
You looked at me with just hate. So we assumed it was probably doing with flooding. So we were alright, we'll go to the fire exit, open the fire exit, and it wasn't raining.
It wasn't overcast. I guess when we were driving up, we were like, what is it, 10 o'clock in the morning? 10 at night.
I know, it was so...
And then we opened the door and like, oh Jesus fuck, man, it's bright out here now.
It was really strange. And we were just asking the staff what was happening, all the procedures.
I don't know the families or my manager. And I love this, man. This is exactly what it's like in the workplace, man. Management are fucking hopeless.
Yeah, it was just with the fact that none of them knew what to do in a situation like this. And I'm like,
exactly. And the thing is, what pisses me off is that everybody that was out there was probably getting flaky with them and getting irritated by them, and looking as if they're the incompetent ones, but really it's probably just the shitty staff and the shitty training they actually get. So I felt sorry for them, so that's why I was...
Some of them were kind of hot, so I don't care. That was pretty funny.
You were just like, oh, I feel sorry for the kids and stuff like that, because it was pretty packed, and it was like, Jesus Christ, it's packed, isn't it? And I'm like, well, and it's like, it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. I was like, well, You've Despicable Me, and you've got Monsters University.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of kid-friendly films and stuff like that, so there'll be a lot of them coming out for thingy, and when we came out, like, it's a shame for kids and stuff like that, because we didn't know if it was going to get back on or not, and you're like, it sucks, man, especially if you're a kid, for when you're disappointed, because it's the worst, and I was like, no, it's the best, because then it totally scars them for life, and, and you're like, you are sick in the head,
Whatever.
Like, you weren't happy, well, you were saying you weren't happy at the Cineworld one, because you kicked
Oh
it,
yeah, they kicked us out and then they just basically said, could we get our money back? No, you've got to go through our website to do it. Alright, but it'll take up to 14 days to get
the worst
2 weeks. I says, can you not just give me, the computers are down. I says, I know how tools work, you can open it up with that. No, we can't give you your money back.
So you can or you won't.
Exactly.
I mean, that's basically it. It's just shit customer service. But the fact, I like to say, if it was 3 working days or 5 working days or whatever, like, I could understand, but no fucking
2 weeks.
And you ended up not getting it anyway, so...
Yep, that's why I've not really been back to that. But anyway, back to the film. So, I just like the message it had as well, sort of through the whole thing as well. I was quite surprised that, that someone could suffer something like that. And they sort of make it like, light-hearted all the way through. But I remember the bit I pointed out with the bar, when all this is going down, the whole fight bit, and it's just right there in the centre of the frame. Drink responsibly.
Right, yeah.
I was like, there you go.
Had to get it in somewhere.
They had to, because you can't make a movie about someone going about a big group of 5 people going about the pubs drinking 12 pints a beer. When I turned around, I says to you, what?
It was brilliant.
I was like,
yeah.
12 pints doesn't seem
no,
that.
It was 10, was it
10.
Not? Was it 10 pints? It was like 6 guys and 10 pints. And
No, it was 12. It was 12 pints. 5 guys.
12 pints.
And he was like,
that's a bit much, isn't it? And they're like, that was an English film. They're not from Scotland. That's a Friday.
Casual Tuesday. That's what we're doing after this. 12 pints? You'll be stalling.
But that's what I liked, but it was the fact that it wasn't just glorifying drinking and stuff like that. So it wasn't as if it was just, lads, and fucking is.
Because as it seemed with Nick Frost,
the repercussions, and I felt so bad for Nick Frost, but that's what I was saying, I was smiling all the way through the film, but as soon as you hear some of the stuff that's happened between some of the characters, and it's just very tragic, and just the acting was fantastic in this fucking film. It's just so good.
As I said, the message behind it was,
rather than the message, the only thing I can compare it to without spoiling it is basically see the part in Shaun of the Dead where he has to shoot his mum. It's basically that vein in terms of feel.
Yeah, actually.
But like 20 times fucking heavier.
I mean, heavier than shooting your mum.
Yeah, honestly. It was so fucking good, man. It was just so well acted and things. I was honestly, you were like at the end of it when they had an RT moment. I was actually welling up at that sequence.
Yeah, I was like, that is actually...
No, you're doing that sarcastically. I was actually near enough tearing up earlier on in the movie, one of the scenes.
I love the location of it though.
Newton... What was it? What's it called again? Newton Haven? Nah, let's go there. I was like, it's not a real place.
I was gutted. I had the world's first roundabout.
Same as you're saying about the title as well. You fucking love the title. It's a real pub in Edinburgh. It's actually quite an infamous pub for what I've heard. I heard through, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's through hearsay that there's a serial killer that actually killed a few folk that he met from that pub.
It's good here.
I'm interested in that.
So, what would you give it then?
Like it says, you can probably tell it's the best film I've seen in, I couldn't even tell you how long.
Since Hot, we haven't said since Hot Fuzz.
I couldn't even tell you since.
That's actually been a couple of good movies you came and seen then, mate. It's quite surprising.
But it's easily better than Shaun of the Dead, and it's better than Hot Fuzz, which is something I was not expecting to say. Well, maybe Hot Fuzz, but not Shaun of the Dead, because I fucking love Shaun of the Dead. But
it's better than Shaun of the
Dead.
Dead.
I think it's better than Shaun of the Dead. Or at least I think it's better than Shaun of the Dead. I'll need to watch it a couple more times.
Yeah.
Easily I'll probably be seeing this.
You said tomorrow?
I might even come back up later on in the night, depending on what the showings are. I'm not fucking joking. Yeah, definitely.
I'd watch it again.
Unless you don't like witty dialogue and fucking great acting and fucking great character fucking writing and great filmmaking and great editing and great soundtrack and great... If you just don't like great things, and
I would say if you don't like alcohol.
But like it doesn't glorify alcohol, you know what I mean? It doesn't glorify it whatsoever.
Unless you don't like it, unless you don't like people sitting drinking. Going, meh. But it doesn't happen that often in it though. So it starts off slow.
So I can't hire it. My only one nitpick in the entire fucking thing. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
I would recommend it though. I would go.
I could easily see this being in my top 5 films ever. But
Really?
yeah, I easily could. Honestly, I loved this movie to that no end. I really did.
It woke him up as well.
At the world's end. Sorry. What about yourself?
I would recommend it. I would go and see it again. I don't know. I'm probably in the same boat as you. I'd say it's better than Hot Fuzz because we watched it a couple of nights ago. We watched it with the commentary. You know, I would love to see the commentary for this because even just the wee.
That's generally what I was like as well. Because the one moment, now the bit that I found the funniest, now it just broke me when Nick Frost leaving the scene.
Yeah.
I want to see how many outtakes there was of that because there must have been. It was basically just sitting there and as we were outside waiting to get back, and I was like, I can't wait to see this again and do it again and fucking think not all the extras that might actually be on the fucking.
It's good. That's what I love about the movies as well. They've got so much for it. And I'm still sort of. I'd probably say it's better than Hot Fuzz. I'm not sure about Shaun of the Dead because I love Shaun of the Dead.
Same, but honestly, I think I might enjoy this so much more than Shaun of the Dead.
Because all the actors are all sort of knowing each other. They're more.
It's just I think it's better written. I think it's got better beats to it. It's better paced. It's
Better music.
better acting. It's better. Looks better as well because they got a better budget. Etc. 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 So that's why I'm thinking.
Gush.
Gush. Exactly.
Didn't have Jason Statham in it though.
No, didn't. That's probably my criticism. Is they don't get Jason Statham in it. A few good cameos in it though.
Yeah.
The crowd pleaser if you're a fan of any of that earlier works.
Spaced. Again, it was me and you. I think we're just talking. We're just going round in crazy circles now.
So trailers.
So
we got another Conjuring trailer which we walked into, and it was a different trailer.
That's the one I've seen. That was the first one I've seen with the
I've seen three. I've seen three.
You not seen that one? That one was just like when they're actually introducing the people that are doing the investigation. That's the first one I've seen. That's why I made the Mulder and Scully thing. I was like, that says it was Mulder and Scully doing.
It's either the first one we've seen the first time, or
it's the first one we've seen.
It's either 2 or 3 then.
We've seen a couple of them, but that was in.
It just made me laugh. I like to look at it first because the other one was kind of creepy. Well, yeah, kind of creepy with the one in the clamp and the thingy, but this one just. It just looks like jump scare central. It's just basically just all the fucking time. Oh, if you look at this wee mirror thing, it's been told that the fucking something will show up behind, and she just goes, you know, I wonder what's going to happen when she looks back in the mirror.
She looks to the back in the mirror, puts the mirror down, and she's in front of him.
It's just I don't like jump scares.
At
least I do, but I don't like it when they're fucking constant, which looks as if this is going to be, since the old trailer was just jump scare after jump scare.
And then it was that Bridesmaid one? The one they done right? Heat.
Well, that's ace to you. I'm getting to see it, honestly.
Sandra Bullock's in it.
She's got some pins on her. She's
got them gams!
She's not too great at acting, but honestly, like, I've seen I kind of half-watched Bridesmaid. It was on, basically my wee sister was watching it. Oh, who was watching it? Somebody was watching it. I came in half through and I just sat down and watched the rest of it and I enjoyed it. And I said to you, it's a bit different. You looked at me like that. And I was like, no, obviously it's a buddy cop movie and it's just fucking totally derogatory.
She's a terrorist.
But I meant, and then as soon as I said that, I corrected myself. Like, for a chick movie. It's a bit different for a chick movie, so it's a bit unconventional. So that's why I liked it. Because we had that, and then we had.
Can't remember the other one. Something stupid. It wasn't Grown Ups. I know that because if it was Grown Ups, I would have punched you.
Why would you punch me if it was Grown Ups? Kids love them.
Get them!
I don't know what it is.
The other one, it would have been the same ones we've seen before. The ones like sort of back and forth. Right, okay, we know what it is. But I'm going to be that interesting. Right. You done then? See you later, fuckers.